Diving into the 5 things that you cannot copyright in a book. Now, copywriting should not be scary. It's actually a huge gift to be able to self-publish for free on Amazon KDP. So copywriting is just part of the game. You've probably published books or not really thought about it till after you hit publish. My name is Jenny Hansen-Lane, and I've created 6 figures from publishing on Amazon KDP. And I want to share all the copywriting stuff that I've learned from my attorney, but also from firsthand experience. So let's dive into the 5 things that you cannot copyright on your book, okay? I've got my printout sheet. Okay, number 1, maybe you've already guessed this. Lined books, low content books, for the most part, cannot be copyrighted. So if you have a journal or a planner, and the basic inside, it cannot be copyrighted. So think of anything that's lined. Now, how do we get around this? The way to get around this, if we do want to copyright it, is to do an entire series. That means create more than one type of journal or composition notebook where you can go ahead and copyright an entire series of books. That is the process that I am in the middle of with my copyright/trademark attorney. The inside of my books, some of my books that have made 6 figures, are lined journals, and I can't protect the inside because, hello, who invented lined journals? Not me. They've been around since writing, right? Hundreds of years since paper was initiated. So let's talk about the best way to do that. Now, the best way is to create something a little bit more unique, right? And so if you are a coach or a course creator or a consultant, you have some type of intellectual property. You teach things a little bit different in your planner, like maybe you take people through a journey or a framework, that can be protected. And that is the really beautiful thing. And actually putting it in a book makes it even better, okay? But for those of you that are like, hey, I'm self-publishing for passive income, how do I protect my lined journals? It is by copyrighting the entire series, okay? But it is important for you to know that if it's just a basic book, you cannot protect the inside. So do your due diligence to create a beautiful cover and a series, like a collection, so you can protect that. I'll keep you updated with my application process so you can learn more about protecting low content books, right? But anything that's very basic on the inside, we can't protect the inside, just the outside. Okay, number 2, any guesses? Drum roll. Titles. We cannot trademark titles, okay? This one is really interesting because this is what makes Amazon so powerful, right? Is that it is a supply and demand marketplace. And so we're using customer search terms on our books for them to be discovered and even purchased. And so it is important that if you want to make money on Amazon, that you're using titles that are actually searched, okay? And I think there's a fine line with self-publishing and like doing a book that you're really proud of. We don't want to use, what we call keyword spamming, where we're taking all the keywords in demand and we're just shoving them into our book because a customer is actually going to read that title before they purchase your book. And so it's important that it flows and it makes sense. But it is important for you to remember that you can't trademark a name like composition notebook, right? That is too broad and too common. Now, here is the way around that to be able to start building your 6-figure book income stream machine is think about your book if it could work as a series, because that is essentially what J.K. Rowling did with Harry Potter. The name of each Harry Potter book is something different, but it's under the series of Harry Potter, and she's able to trademark that. Now, Harry Potter has gone on to make hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe even billions, I'm not sure. They've been able to trademark and protect Harry Potter on so many different levels that it would not be wise for you to even put it in a title or a subtitle on Amazon just because it's not trademarkable, right? As a title. It's protected in so many goods and services and different classes. When you're like, what are you talking about with goods and services and classes? The trademark office allows you to take a term and put it in a certain category. So Apple products, they are not trademarked in the dish detergent category or in the farming category, right? So there is like a wiggle room to understand, but my very best advice is create something unique. Don't try to copy people, okay? When we, especially on Amazon with the KDP support team, you don't want to confuse them either and jeopardize your account, okay? Let's go into number 3. Number 3 is subtitles. This is not copyrightable because of the same reason as titles. Now, this is the beautiful part, is that Amazon KDP is actually a supply and demand marketplace. And so you want to use customer search terms that are going to be used. And you want to come up with clever stuff in the format of a series, right? And so I know we've talked about this a little bit, that Amazon right now is not allowing self-publishers to publish low-content books as series. But as I was talking to my attorney, that is how we trademark a series. And so something that I'm working on is trying to get some low-content books made into series, because you used to be able to do that on Amazon. The only way I see that this is possible for me and my KDP account is to show them that I've registered the covers as a series, which is the whole application process I've been doing with my attorney. Okay. So that is number 3. And I kind of feel like this video is a fire hose. Like, there is so much with copyright, but I'm sharing it with you, 1, because I love you. 2, I don't want you to feel scared to not publish. Okay. We've had a lot of different people that are new to the channel that have been using Canva. So let's dive into the 4th thing that we need to understand about what we cannot copyright. And this one is someone else's work as a standalone, right? Someone else's standalone work, okay? So every person that is an artist that has uploaded their content to Canva, they have made an agreement with Canva to release their images to be commercially used and copyrighted in a bigger body of work. Now, it doesn't necessarily say that exact verbiage on Canva's website, but after talking to support and talking to my trademark and copyright attorney in deeper detail, it's important for us to know this, okay? So you can use pro elements in your books. You can use free elements in your book. But if you are going to take the extra preventative cautions and apply for registration of your book, you need to make sure that you're using third-party elements, artists, other people's work with permission and in a bigger composition piece, right? And so if you're going to use some of those elements, you need to incorporate your own elements, and that is how you're able to actually have your work registered. Now, we've even had someone from the copyright, we had a self-publisher say that when they went to go register at the Copyright Office required them to get more details about the Canva element. And so if you are weary or apprehensive about using third-party design tools like Canva, you can always reach out to an artist and hire an illustrator or a graphic designer or an animator or a children's book illustrator to create work for you with the agreement you want to have a contract. And if you need a contract, my attorney Evan has that. I'll put a link below where you can learn more about his affordable services and his membership. But you want to agree with that artist that you are using this to claim copyright and make commercial work from it, right? Okay, so that is number 4. Drop in the comments any questions that you might have about these 4. It can be really complex. We're diving into number 5, okay? The 5th thing you cannot copyright with your book on Amazon is, you guys already know this one, right? Boom. AI Standalone. Why am I putting standalone? I recently had a student that did a big book. They wrote a book. They may have hired a ghostwriter to help them. And they added some like elements inside of the book that were AI. It was a very small percent of the entire work, right? They're not asking AI to write every bit of the book, but they used some for graphics. Kind of think about like ClipArt. And I actually have a gift for you guys below if you would like my ClipArt mini course. We have a coupon code for that. I digress. It's really important for you to understand that if you're going to use AI, we cannot use it just as standalone. It's the same thing as number 4. We need these to work together, right? So we can't copyright just AI work, and we cannot copyright things that are standalone that we don't own. That's one reason, because we're not actually sure. I mean, a computer made it. We've got to modify. And we've got to add more. And so then what happens is in a body of work, AI is a very small percent that actually helped us create it. Okay. So let me know what questions you have about this. And maybe there's an opportunity to do an art piece of artwork where we use lots of different elements. Maybe I draw some stuff too. And then we use some AI, and then we submit that to the registration office, the copyright registration office. Now, it gets more complex for one page versus an entire book, and I would prefer to do an entire book. And so you'll see more of this type of content on this channel. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. We'll be diving into more of these topics because oddly, it's not covered, and it's such an important part of protecting your income, right? It's almost like the insurance for it. And a lot of people will not make the investment in themselves. And I made that mistake. You saw that I had a book that I was able to make $37,000 off of. And I thought that I knew copyright, and there was a lot to learn. My account, and maybe you've mentioned that sometimes there are people that inappropriately report your account. The more I think about that first time that happened to me, I wonder if it was a competitor, reporting a pen name of mine because they didn't like that it was number 1 in its category. I was able to figure out how to recreate that book. It has now crossed $42,000 and it is still number 1 in the category. So I was able to bounce back. But I can't wait to see what I can do more when I have my series of low content books, the certificate. So that's what we're working on. So thank you for being here. Let me know if there was any of the 5 that stuck out to you that was like new to you. Love you. See you in the next video.